Hey everybody, welcome back to Aska. Today we are sitting with Jess Smith. Jess is not only a psychic researcher, not a psychic, hold on, not only a psychedelic researcher, a group organizer, as well as a retreat organizer, and a good colleague, since that's the word we like to use, a good colleague member of mine. Jess, how you doing?
Doing great. And psychic too, you know what I'm saying? We're all psychic. We don't all know it.
At the end of the day, some of us claim it, some of us don't. But I love that you're here. Thank you for sitting down with me. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I like to start every conversation with the icebreaker just to kind of center us in and ground. Are you down to participate?
I'm with it.
Okay. If you could pick any superpower, what would you be selecting? So, super speed, invisibility, mind reading, like, or all of the
No,
above.
I got it. I got
Okay.
it. 'Cause my
Okay.
son asked me this yesterday, and it's
Okay.
invisibility. I'm
Why?
gonna be invisible. You know what? And I thought about what's the psychology behind me wanting to be invisible? And I just want to do mischievous stuff. I just want to sneak around and take things and watch people and be in their conversation.
Hilarious. That is hilarious. I don't know if I want that. I mean, unless, like you said, mischievous things like going into a bank and then, hiding, hiding some things around. I think mine would want to be super speed because think of all the money you'd save on transportation. But then I
So
started thinking, I'm like, how fast is super speed?
you said with gas prices.
For the way gas prices is set up, I might need to just run. Think how thin I would be. Lots of benefits. Okay, so let's jump
Mhm.
into the conversation. So, how did you get interested in psychedelic research? Like what drives your passion in that?
I think any psychedelic researcher would say it was by accident.
Mm,
Uh, I did MDMA at like 22. It resulted in what Groff calls a spiritual crisis. So I had a year of feeling like, things were unsettled. My body was going through it. My
mm,
psyche was unraveling all the things I'd pushed down. And it forced me to go deeper into a like healing practice
mhm.
because my way to deal with the trauma of childhood was just to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that I was invited to Lake Havasu and I was offered MDMA. And it was like after that, I couldn't drink alcohol. My body rejected it. All the things that alcohol helped me push down
Mhm.
came up. I was forced to look at it.
Oh,
And I'll never look back. It was thanks to MDMA that I went down this spiritual path to heal
yeah.
childhood trauma
Yeah.
and go deeper into my research, mostly esoterica at first,
Mhm.
like Gnosticism, yoga, meditation, Eastern philosophy. And
Mhm.
one thing led to another, and I arrived at back to psychedelics and how it was learning how it could be a catalyst for healing, and
Mhm.
then reflecting on my own experience and saying, yeah, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Yeah. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay, so I have some questions. So, were you using MDA initially recreationally, or did you have a safe container? Okay, so then how did you
First
process?
time.
Yeah, like here you go. Let's open up this. How did you process that? Because I'm thinking about the person that might be listening to this, and maybe they might go off and be like, "Let me give this a try." What was the integration like? What was the healing like? Because it's not just open one thing and you're healed. Like, what were
Right.
the aftermath? What was the aftermath?
Oh, it was rough. Like
Yeah.
spiritual crisis, what
Mhm.
was the way to describe like the year that followed after that initial MDMA. And I'll preface that that was my first time ever doing psychedelics.
Oh, yes.
It was amazing. I felt the joy of just like inner peace
Mhm.
and understanding and clarity that I hadn't had since like a child.
Mhm.
Um, and so then what followed was severe depression,
Mhm.
suicidal ideation. Um, I couldn't drink to suppress. I had to look at like this deep trauma. And just to like give a background, it was sexual abuse as a child from a close loved one.
Yeah.
So it was deep.
Yeah.
I Oof, man, my relationship was going downhill, and I was going to end the relationship, which who's now my husband. Um, I was just going through it, one thing after another, just trying to find a way out of depression,
Mm-hmm.
and went to like intensive care because I was like really heavy in my SI.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there, Kaiser, of all places, they were experimenting with meditation as an intervention in mental health.
Mm-hmm.
It was so new that only like 6 people went to the meditation class out of like a 30 people in our group.
Mm-hmm.
And there was weird synchronicities. I would be sitting in group and I'd be listening to the stories of others, and then a voice would come, and it was like not my voice.
Yeah.
Said, "You weren't born this way. Something
Mm-hmm.
happened to each of you." And it was such an embodied voice. I felt this otherness kind of like guiding me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a result of psychedelics? Possibly. It may have opened up my mind to receive like these psychic downloads.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm getting off on a tangent here because your question was, how was it? And it was just,
Tangents are welcome.
yeah, it,
You
it
know how I
was,
thought.
it was rough. It
Yeah.
was rough. And meditation, because they wanted to give me Zoloft and Prozac and all this stuff. And then I was like, well, I'm smoking marijuana. Like that's what's helping me
Mm-hmm.
actually like reduce my symptoms of PTSD. And they tried to tell me, well, there's arsenic in there and there's all kind of da 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 da. And I was like, this informational sheet you gave me is like really inaccurate. And like if you just to do the research, you would find that like half the facts on here are not facts at all.
Right. Not just
So,
making stuff up. Oh,
right, just furthered my distrust for the medical system.
yeah.
Meditation class was phenomenal, and then that led me towards yoga, and I started doing yoga and meditation like 3, 4 times a day, like obsessive compulsive with it
Mm-hmm.
because I have an addictive personality. So that was like my coke, my crack cocaine.
Yeah.
Uh, it helped me get
Right.
through. And I just continued to do yoga, and I finally started to feel better. I told myself words like I am positive, even if I felt like crap and I was waking up in the middle of the night calling suicide hotline,
Mm-hmm.
listening to a lot of Wayne Dyer just to pull me out of it. And eventually I started to just feel more whole, more present.
Mm-hmm.
And I did mushrooms. And this first time was MDMA, was Molly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did mushrooms, and it was like, here it is again,
Yeah.
that feeling. And it like dawned on me, like, this is why I'm in this path right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta keep going. So I
Love this.
just fell into a hole of esoterica and um, all the marginalized information about healing.
Mm-hmm. I love this. Let's just pause for a second.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. I just feel so much resonance in your story about like healing trauma, healing childhood trauma through the use of modalities like yoga and meditation. And I used to do shrooms off of like Gloria Anzaldúa Borderlands because in that book they were talking about how like a holistic shaman would take people like sick people to like the medicine. I don't want to mess it up, but they were taking it to this higher realm so they can be healed through mushrooms. And so I started my journey there and I was painting all night. I couldn't get my voice in my head to stop talking to me. Just writing down notes like, you are alive. What are you doing? Go and live your life. And I'm like, what? Okay. So it has such a powerful benefit to act as a catalyst. But like you said, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that it's not just like a one-all fix all, like there is the shadow period you have to deal with, and then making sure you're setting yourself up properly to deal with that if that's the way you're going to take. So let's talk about the research world.
Yeah.
What are the misconceived notions about psychedelic research in modern, like mainstream?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you mentioned it. It's not like a magic pill.
Mhm.
And I think that's what is being promoted in commercial spaces. They are they are promising healing, rapid healing.
Mhm.
They're promising clarity and like an almost like an easy way out. But and there's not a whole lot of integration methods that follow that we know to be scientifically effective.
Right.
Maybe save for breath work and meditation. So we know those things are great. But does every company that is soliciting ketamine nowadays via online platforms, are they really taking into account the integration process? Or is it just like talk therapy and journaling?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've seen working in the space is there's not a whole lot of development happening and there's not a whole lot of research happening in the field of integration for
Mm-hmm.
psychedelics. And
Mm-hmm.
it's hand in hand. If you were to look at preparation, there is set and setting, and it is hammered in every psychedelic tablet, guide, research article. Set and setting is there. So we know we have to prepare our minds and our bodies and our spaces to undergo this phenomenological experience.
Yeah.
Now, what follows is you just had this like really abstract, you know, experience, anomalous even. And how do you make sense of all that?
Mm-hmm.
And all the Stanislav Grof, psychedelic researcher and therapist, along with his wife, termed the coin COEX system, which is a complex emotional cluster of events in our brain. So let's say you experience a trauma of abandonment and later on in life you experience a very similar trauma of abandonment and all of those emotions and memories go into a cluster. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we take psychedelics, that cluster has the potential to open up and we'll start to remember all those things and it'll become very uncomfortable, which is what they call a spiritual crisis. And now I don't know where I was going with this, but all in all, you can't get out of that spiritual crisis without a proper way to integrate. My journey was trial and error.
Right.
Take drugs, feel great afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
figure out now what's going on and does meditation work and, what else was going to help me. And it was just like pick it up, see if it works. If it doesn't, you throw it out, you try something new.
Yeah.
My goal now is do we standardize like an integration process? Some might say no because it might take away from the the noumenal effect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think that there's like basic best practice, standards for best practice. Like I would argue that you need to have meditation and yoga and breath work. Like you have to have those in
Mm-hmm.
order to fully integrate and gain
Mm-hmm.
from those psychedelic experiences.
So I'm sorry if I could just interject. So you, as it stands right now, are they just focusing on like journaling and talk therapy as integrated?
There's majority of the time, especially like in Western psychology and psychiatry, it is medicine and or it is talk therapy.
Okay.
Like very few Western therapists and psychologists are going to say, let's try this indigenous practice of storytelling,
Yeah. Yeah.
or let's do some yoga here in my office.
It would be nice though. It would be real nice. But
If
with
you
this,
know, like,
If you know, like we know, it'd be real nice. So what it sounds like, what I'm understanding is, so you're experiencing this whole body transformative process through the process of intaking psychedelics. The integration should reflect that experience. So it's not just like cognitive, let me journal it, let me talk it out, but I need to also engage with my body and also my spirit, which you can do through yoga and meditation. So it needs to be a
Yeah.
holistic integration, not just one channel.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
dope. That's really dope.
And also my I have had the argument or this foundational idea that as a person of color, or just even reflecting on the trauma that I've sustained, it is physical.
Yeah.
It's not it Parts of it are psychological, but the trauma that I sustained is physical.
Mhm.
And with that, I need a physical somatic practice to
Mhm.
help release the trauma that's trapped in my body.
Right.
I make the argument that people of color require somatics
Mhm.
because historically the trauma is physical.
Mhm. That makes a lot of sense. Can we just take a moment just to pause because my brain wants to go here
Yeah.
before we move. What does it look like to prepare for embarking on that journey? You talk about like the setup process. What does that look like?
Yeah. I tell anybody who's asked me, "Hey, do you have mushrooms I can try?" And I would tell them, "Yes, I do. This is what you need to do." I recommend fasting 4 hours, minimum two, but 4 hours prior, drinking lots of water, and then having water or tea, something that's hydrating near you when you do
Mhm.
your journey.
Mhm.
I recommend having a blanket. I recommend meditating prior to, or like, it takes about 30 minutes. Let's say you eat a mushroom gummy, it takes about 30 minutes to hit you. And so I would meditate and set an intention
Mhm.
because the last thing we want is for you to take this medicine and you're all over the place and then all the things and then now your psyche is just overwhelmed and it's overstimulating.
Yeah.
And that could be challenging. Um, so setting an intention. What is the purpose of this journey?
Yeah.
I definitely don't recommend doing it recreationally. I have stories of my own experience. Woo!
We might need to save it for another day. I know we're pressed for time, but I would love to hear a story time with you on psychedelics. That
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Because other people's energies you'll be sensitive to. So I
yeah,
don't recommend doing psychedelics around or with somebody who has added to your trauma.
that makes sense.
Right.
That makes-
Like patients in ketamine therapy, they would be like, "Well, my mom's gonna be my sitter," and I'd be like, "Is there stuff that you're working through, like with your mom? Like, is there trauma there?" Well, yeah. I mean, she's a bit judgy and all that. Like, yeah,
that's
don't be with somebody you can't open up with because when that medicine hits you, you're gonna say a bunch of shit,
yeah.
and it's gonna be crazy sounding. If you're with somebody who judges you, you're
Mhm.
not gonna feel comfortable, and you're gonna feel very limited and boxed in. It's gonna be challenging.
You're going through such a vulnerable experience of like moving inside out, and you want somebody. I did it recreationally once with someone near me, and my internal voice, I just looked over at the person. I'm like, I don't like you. And I just left. I was just like, I gotta go now. I'll see you. And I never hung
Yeah,
out with that person since. But you're speaking 100% facts. So let's talk about group work since you're not doing it recreationally, but doing it intentionally and with the purpose of using it as medicine. Do
mhm,
you foresee yourself holding space for people like your retreats or your workshops where you're integrating that in?
absolutely. Now, but I will say that like traditionally, psychedelics in group involves a bunch of random people you don't know sitting in a circle with one or two shamans, and it's like they're like constantly singing or chanting. I I don't
Yeah.
believe in that.
Mhm.
You're with a bunch of random people. There's energy transference happening. Not recommended. If I was to do a group retreat that incorporated plant medicine in this way, I would prefer spaces where people can go and just be alone
Hmm.
and in their own vibe. Like a very safe, malleable place. You're not stuck in this circle with these shamans chanting that you have to listen to for 8 hours. And you can hear somebody vomiting over here and crying over here. Like, no.
That sounds so terrible.
Nah.
No, I think
And
it's a
then
no for
these
me,
people
dog.
are paying like a crap ton of money just to do that. Like, mm-mm.
No, that's not the vibe. So you're
No,
setting up a safe container where someone can come in and have the experience they need and move around as they see fit, but it's safe. You're
it's
acting the babysitter, I'm assuming. Is that the term? I don't know.
right.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, I'm the sitter. And even when I give mushrooms, like I have a few friends who have insomnia, depression, they're asking me like, do you think that this is viable for me? And in most instances, I'm like, yes. And here's what I want you to do. Call me anytime you feel challenged. I
Hmm.
don't care if it's 2, 4 in the morning. If
Hmm.
I'm giving you this medicine, you tell me if you're taking it that day, like you tell me morning of, hey, I'm taking this, so I'm prepared that if I get a call, it ain't random. It's because you're challenged right now. And then I'll help you tap back into your breath, remind you you're safe, hold space for you.
Hmm.
We
That's
could be on the phone, I could be there, I could be virtually like through Zoom
hmm.
because I won't have anybody that I know that I give medicine to go through the spiritual crisis I went through. I won't have it. There's no need for that anymore. I went through it,
Yep.
so you don't have to.
That reminds me, is it the wounded healer? Like we go through these journeys so that way we can help hold the container for others. So that's absolutely beautiful. So let's just visit real quick about your contribution to research. What are you looking to contribute to the conversations that are already happening?
And that's what I need to do this weekend is reorganize my whole research project. Uh, so there's a tool called the resiliency map. It was adapted from Matisse storytelling tradition. Um, so it was adapted by Anna Sophia, and her last name is Greek, and it's like Demokropoulos, something like that. It's very long and hard to pronounce, but a friend of mine, and we're both in this Pachamama Alliance, the Santa Cruz chapter, which is this like esoteric organization that seeks to awaken this unconscious mind of everybody in a positive way. So Anna Sophia adapted this resiliency map. It's a storytelling map. It has these keywords and it allows the participant to be drawn in. It's shaped as a labyrinth. And so the way that I've experienced it is like a labyrinth in my mind, but that I'm able to physically walk.
Mhm.
And this map, when I originally did it, I was what, like 24 or 25. I was in my healing journey. I was still trying to figure out what modalities were helping me. You know, yoga was helping me, meditation was helping me, breath work. But what else? Because there was still unresolved stuff.
Right.
This map was rapid healing. And this is what Matisse elders uh, argue that storytelling in this way with this like labyrinth, and their labyrinth is like a little bit less complex. It's just like 4 sectors. But they argue that this is rapid healing. This is how, in their communities, they integrate trauma and
Mhm.
all the experiences and like communal trauma as well. The
Mhm.
trauma that this tribe has experienced and the history of genocide that
Yeah.
they've gone through.
You, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say research. If you look at research with regards to indigenous storytelling, it is not only culturally informed tool, but it can be adapted to any culture. And just by telling your story, you make sense of your own stuff, your own experience, but you have others who can relate, and it's that like connection that you make in storytelling.
And I was going to say, you facilitated this when we were in Los Gatos, right? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay. It was
Yes.
phenomenal. So if ever you facilitated, you all, I'm telling you, you want to participate because it was so beautiful. And I think it helps um connect with people beyond like the facades and the masks that they like to wear, and it gets to the root of like their more softer parts. And so you can
Yeah.
just kind of love on people. So it's wonderful. It is.
Yeah, I learned what people had gone through in such a short amount of time and how they overcame it in their own minds and bodies. And
Yeah.
even if it wasn't fully resolved, you can tell, like you can feel the resilience. It was magical. And I really appreciated all your participation. And I wish that we had more time and sunlight because it did happen at night. I felt rushed almost.
Yeah, it was getting dark, but it was, I mean, it was just perfect. It was only because more people came. I think we would have had a
Yeah.
little bit more time, but
Yeah.
but whatever. What
Yeah.
medicine was happening. So
Yeah.
tell the people what you have going on. Where can they follow you or find you?
So I have a YouTube channel. I
Mhm.
did give you the link. It's Cosmic Connect 111 or 1111. Um, if you are interested in doing psychedelics, I have a lot of informational videos on there. I have some videos as well on like how astrology can help us heal.
Mhm.
So you can check it out. I need to put more. I need to be a little bit more consistent. But if there's a video that is desired, I'm happy, and it's within my capacity to provide that. I'm happy to do it.
I love that. And then in regards if someone wants to hold space with you for this one-on-one outside of YouTube, how can they get a hold of you there?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I've only ever advertised it to like people that I encounter in person.
Mhm.
But I would say find me on Facebook. It's
Mhm.
Cosmic Connect 1111 with only one C in between. So Cosme Connect. And you can DM me. I'm gonna be very mindful of like those who maybe have the assumption that this is just going to be like a quick fix. You
Mhm.
do have to be willing to do the work, willing to question your own thought patterns, be
Mhm.
curious at all times. So I would say if you're ready and you're in that space, hit me up. I got you. I want to make sure that you have the best journey and you're going to have the most gains.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jess, for spending time
Thank
with us.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
y'all, until we meet again, thank you for sitting with us. Bye bye.